The story opens in a ruined city where chaos has already won. Linus is sprinting for his life, desperately trying to reach a boat before it's too late. He is one of the few survivors left in a world destroyed by a deadly virus that wiped out civilization nearly 20 years ago. Cities became graveyards, and humanity scattered into isolated pockets just to survive. One of those rare safe places is Helgoland, a remote island in the middle of the sea where exactly 513 people still manage to live in peace. The virus has never reached there, making it the last hope for humanity. Linus and his team had traveled outside wearing protective suits to secure rare medicines worth more than gold, crucial for survival. But during the mission, Linus gets separated. His team waits, but time runs out, forcing them to leave him behind and return. Now, alone and hunted, Linus runs toward the boat, knowing this might be his only chance to make it back alive. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to like and subscribe for more recaps like this. Just as Linus reaches the shoreline, a hostile survivor suddenly blocks his path, driven by hatred toward Helgoland's people. Tension explodes instantly. With no time to think, Linus dodges him and climbs to higher ground, using every bit of strength left in his body. At the last second, he leaps and barely makes it onto but the danger isn't over. A man named Mosik jumps after him, determined to stop him at any cost. The guards react immediately and shoot Mosik, sending his body crashing into the water below. For a brief moment, it seems like Linus is safe, but then everything changes. One of the guards notices a small scratch on his hand. Suspicion rises instantly. Without hesitation, they inject him with a sedative, assuming he might be infected. Darkness takes over. When Linus wakes up later, he secretly hides the vaccine vial he risked everything for, knowing it could change everything. When Linus regains consciousness, he is already back on Helgoland, locked inside strict quarantine. His body is completely sanitized, and every movement is monitored. Days pass slowly, filled with tension and silence. Then his father, Mark, finally visits him. Mark is the island's only scientist and carries the responsibility of finding a cure. In a quiet moment, Linus secretly hands over the vaccine vial he risked his life to bring. This could be their only chance. Meanwhile, another guard named Hans is also placed in quarantine after being attacked during the mission. Some infected blood had splashed onto his face, and now he is constantly coughing. When Mark examines him, strange rashes begin to appear on his body, raising serious concerns. At the same time, Mark tests the vaccine Linus brought and confirms something incredible. It is real. For the first time, there is hope, but that hope comes with dangerous consequences. Mark immediately informs Beatrice, the island's powerful leader, about the real vaccine and suggests sending another team to collect more. But Beatrice refuses without hesitation. After the last mission, 2 people are already in quarantine, and she refuses to take any further risks. Instead, she orders something shocking. Hans must be given a fake vaccine instead of the real one. Mark hesitates, but ultimately follows her command, choosing obedience over morality. Meanwhile, in the outer regions controlled by Earl, survivors discover a dead body floating in the river with a vaccine hidden in its pocket. The news spreads quickly. Elsewhere, a man named Henrik is shown wandering in the infected city after being exiled from Helgoland for breaking rules. There, he meets a woman named Valma, who trades sanitizer for survival. With nothing valuable to offer, Henrik uses charm and deception, entertaining her until she trusts him completely. Once Valma lets her guard down, Henrik's true nature is revealed. While she shows him her hidden supplies, he suddenly attacks and kills her, taking over her place without hesitation. Survival has erased his humanity. Back on the island, Beatrice praises Lisa publicly for her bravery and promises her a better, more luxurious life, strengthening her control over people through rewards. At the same time, she manipulates public opinion, making it seem like Lisa supports harsh punishments like Henrik's exile. In Mark's lab, he resumes his research with the help of Jurid. When they open boxes sent by Earl, they discover something horrifying: 2 infected humans inside. Jurid is shocked, but Mark reveals he made a deal with Earl to continue his experiments. Desperate for a cure, he tests the vaccine on them. But within moments, both subjects die, proving the formula is still incomplete and dangerously unstable. Back in the lab, Mark's failure becomes painfully clear. The vaccine is not ready, and time is running out. The deaths of the 2 infected test subjects shake everyone, but Mark refuses to stop. Meanwhile, Linus begins showing strange symptoms, quietly hiding the fact that red rashes are appearing on his skin. He knows what it means, but keeps it secret, afraid of what will happen if Beatrice finds out. On the island, Beatrice announces Hans's death publicly and blames Commander Maya for negligence. Maya tries to defend herself, but Beatrice manipulates the voting system, turning the population against her. With the leaderboard system controlling everyone's fate, Maya's ranking drops dangerously low. In this world, every action matters, good or bad, and the lowest-ranked person each year is executed. Tension spreads across the island. At the same time, Fiona begins pretending she is infected to protect Maya, but her plan fails. Beatrice quickly tightens control, showing how easily fear can be used as power over survival itself. Fiona's desperate attempt to protect Commander Maya backfires as Beatrice tightens her grip on the island's strict ranking system. The leaderboard, tracking every citizen's status, becomes a weapon of control, where even small actions can decide life or death. Fiona's mother Laura panics when Fiona starts vomiting, fearing her daughter might be infected and permanently damaging their reputation. She rushes Fiona to Nurse Lily, hoping for answers. The diagnosis shocks her. Fiona is pregnant. In this world, even that truth becomes dangerous. Laura immediately demands the pregnancy be ended to protect their ranking. Fiona is devastated and refuses to accept it, creating a deep emotional conflict between mother and daughter. Meanwhile, Mark continues struggling with Linus's condition as the infection spreads silently. Elsewhere, Earl manipulates survivors outside the island, offering food in exchange for information about vaccines, using fear and hunger as tools. Trust begins to break everywhere, and survival starts to depend on betrayal instead of unity. Earl's influence grows as he uses deception to control desperate survivors, promising food in exchange for vaccine locations. His true goal is power over Helgoland itself. Meanwhile, Henrik is captured by a gang seeking revenge for Valama's death. He lies his way through interrogation, claiming he is connected to Helgoland's leadership and even pretending his mother holds authority there. Desperation pushes him to manipulate every situation to survive. The gang eventually delivers him to Earl, who immediately sees through most of his lies but keeps him alive for leverage. Earl reveals his ambition clearly. He wants to become the ruler of Helgoland. On the island, Beatrice announces that bringing new people is necessary after Hans's death. A new candidate is selected, and the political tension grows stronger. Every decision now feels like a step toward either control or collapse, as power struggles begin to replace survival as the main threat. Tension rises on Helgoland as Beatrice introduces a new candidate to stabilize the island after recent chaos. The leadership system is breaking under pressure, and every decision now carries deadly weight. Alec's wife Cass is evaluated alongside another candidate, Daniela, who claims to be a sergeant. Both are tested through strict questioning about skills and survival abilities. Cass has pharmaceutical training, while Daniela relies on quick thinking and confident answers. In the end, the voting system decides everything, and Daniela is selected due to the island's urgent need for military strength. Cass is rejected, leaving Alec devastated. Meanwhile, Alec is forced to stay because he is essential to the island's water filtration system, which supplies most of the clean water. When he tries to leave with his wife, he is threatened with execution. The island's survival infrastructure is now more important than personal freedom, showing how humanity is being replaced by cold, calculated necessity. Daniela arrives on the island, unaware that danger has followed her. Hidden among the same boat are two of Earl's men, quietly infiltrating Helgoland without detection. Meanwhile, chaos brews inside the windmill system where Alec works. His supervisor, Josem, secretly drinks alcohol, losing focus and judgment. Under pressure to maintain his ranking, Josem climbs the structure while intoxicated, hoping to prove himself useful. But his balance fails, and he falls violently to the ground, shattering both legs. He is rushed to the hospital, where doctors are forced to make a horrifying decision. Amputation is necessary to prevent infection from spreading. The surgery is witnessed by Mark, adding to his emotional burden. Daniela, disturbed by the brutality, walks away shaken. The island's illusion of order is collapsing, replaced by constant fear, punishment, and survival-based decisions that strip away empathy completely. After witnessing Jazim's amputation, Daniela breaks down emotionally and later confesses a shocking truth to Mark. She is not actually a sergeant. She had faked everything during the interview, using a book to memorize answers. She begs Mark to keep her secret, promising to help him in any way possible. Before Mark can respond, Jared overhears everything and erupts in anger, accusing Mark of failing his duties. She reveals that Linus is already infected, yet Mark still hasn't developed a working cure. Tension explodes between them, escalating into violence as Jared tries to attack him. Daniela intervenes, and in the struggle, Jared is killed accidentally. Panic spreads instantly, as hiding a death on the island could mean execution. To avoid punishment, Mark and Daniela secretly dispose of the body in the ocean. The island's moral collapse deepens, where survival now depends on silence, lies, and covering up every mistake. Beatrice continues tightening her control over Helgoland, using fear and strict laws to maintain order. She confronts Fiona about her pregnancy and pressures her to terminate it, claiming the island cannot allow illegal births. Fiona refuses fiercely, openly challenging Beatrice's authority and exposing her hypocrisy. At the same time, Fiona's boyfriend Tom is imprisoned for failing to join the guard squad, and he suffers brutal treatment in jail, revealing the dark reality behind the island's justice system. Meanwhile, Mark is still struggling with Linus's worsening infection, while hiding the truth from others. The fragile balance on the island begins to crack as trust disappears completely. Beatrice's influence grows stronger through manipulation and fear, while citizens begin to realize that every system meant to protect them is slowly becoming a tool of control. Even survival now comes with a cost: obedience or punishment. The island is no longer a safe haven, but a controlled prison disguised as hope. Fiona's situation takes a devastating turn when she suffers severe abdominal pain. Mark examines her and delivers heartbreaking news: she has miscarried. The loss completely shatters her emotionally, breaking her remaining trust in the system. Meanwhile, Beatrice investigates Jared's sudden disappearance and discovers a crucial clue: a broken tooth found in Mark's clinic. Forensics confirm it belongs to Jared, exposing that she has been killed. Beatrice confronts Mark immediately, but he reacts coldly, aware that as the island's only doctor, he holds unmatched importance. Beatrice cleverly shifts blame, promising to frame Alec for the murder to protect Mark's position. Guilt consumes him, but survival keeps him silent. Later, Beatrice officially accuses Alec of killing Jared, using false evidence created by Lisa to manipulate public opinion. The island votes again, and most citizens choose punishment. Innocence no longer matters. Only survival and influence decide fate. As Alec's execution approaches, the island's tension reaches breaking point. Beatrice publicly declares him guilty, while Lisa supports the accusation with fabricated documents. The majority votes for his death, ignoring the few who believe in his innocence, including Fiona and Mark. Alec is dragged to the shoreline, chained with heavy metal weights, ready to be drowned as punishment. The crowd watches without hesitation, as fear has replaced morality. Mark is overwhelmed with guilt, realizing how far he has fallen. He confesses everything to Linus, admitting he made terrible decisions to protect him. Linus listens in shock as Mark breaks down emotionally, unable to carry the burden anymore. The truth behind his past begins to surface: how he lost his wife during the initial outbreak and chose survival over family. That choice has haunted him ever since, shaping every decision he has made on the island. As Alec's execution is about to begin, Mark finally decides he cannot stay silent any longer. He prepares to reveal the truth to the entire island, hoping to expose Beatrice's system. Fiona also agrees to support him, determined to fight back against the corruption. At the same time, Daniela informs Mark that Earl is approaching with his team and plans to take control of Helgoland. She reveals that Earl is bringing a cure with him, giving hope that Linus might finally be saved. Meanwhile, Earl and Spark locate a hidden ship carrying the vaccine and a research lab. Overjoyed, they set sail toward Helgoland, believing they can change everything. As all forces converge, truth, power, survival, and cure, the island stands on the edge of transformation. Helgoland is about to face its final reckoning, where survival will no longer depend on control, but on truth itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this movie recap, like, subscribe, and comment what you want next.